Welcome to Can Do French by FrenchPod101.com.
Bonjour à tous, je suis Léa Mercier. Hi everyone, I'm Léa Mercier. In this lesson, you'll learn how to ask how much something costs.
This is Ben Lee, and he's shopping at a small grocery store. He sees a snack with no visible price tag and asks, "How much does this cost?"
Combien ça coûte?
Listen to the conversation and focus on the question. Ready?
Combien ça coûte? Ça coûte 2 euros.
Once more with the English translation.
Combien ça coûte?
How much does this cost?
Ça coûte 2 euros.
This costs €2. Wondering how you can master these conversations even faster? Here's how. 1. Read along. You get the lesson conversation and translations inside our dialogue tool, so that you see each word as you hear it and understand it all. 2. Practice speaking. By shadowing what you hear, you can also record and compare yourself with native speakers with our voice recording tools. And 3. Take our assessment tests and see how much you remember. These tools are part of our Can Do course. Just click the link in the description to get them.
Let's take a closer look at the conversation.
Do you remember how Ben asks, "How much does this cost?"
Combien ça coûte?
Let's start with
Combien?
how much.
Combien? Combien?
Next is
Ça.
this.
Ça. Ça.
Translation note.
Ça.
Could also translate as it in this context. However, we'll use this as the translation. Last is
Coûte.
costs, as in this costs.
Coûte. Coûte. Coûte.
Is from the verb
Coûter.
to cost.
Coûter.
Altogether, it's
Combien ça coûte?
literally how much this costs, but translates as how much does this cost?
Combien ça coûte?
Let's take a closer look at the response.
Do you remember how the shop clerk says, "This costs €2"?
Ça coûte 2 euros.
Let's start with
2 euros.
€2.
2 euros.
First is
2.
2.
2. 2.
Next is
Euro.
euro, the name of the currency.
Euro. Euro.
Note that there is an S to indicate the plural form, but the S is silent. Together it's
2 euros.
€2.
2 euros.
Moving to the beginning of the sentence,
Ça coûte.
first is
Ça.
this.
Ça.
Next is
Coûte.
costs.
Coûte.
Altogether it's
Ça coûte 2 euros.
this costs €2.
Ça coûte 2 euros.
The pattern is
Combien coûte? Item.
how much does item cost?
Combien coûte? Item.
To use this pattern, simply replace the item placeholder with the thing you'd like to know the price of. Note, when naming specific items, you'll need to use the correct corresponding article. For example, imagine you're at a cafe and you'd like to know the price of a coffee.
Un café.
Let's start with
Café.
coffee.
Café. Café. Café.
Is masculine and singular. Before
Café.
is.
Un.
Think of this like a in English.
Un. Un. Un.
Is masculine and singular to agree with.
Café.
Ask, how much does a coffee cost? Ready?
Combien coûte un café?
How much does a coffee cost?
Combien coûte un café?
Note: if you ask for un café, a coffee, it's assumed you are asking for an espresso. If you'd like a less strong coffee, you should ask for un café allongé or un café américain. The word ça can be used to discuss an item without knowing its name and, subsequently, its gender in French. To use the pattern with a specific item, you'll need to know the number and gender of the thing you are asking for, and also whether you're referring to something specific. The key pattern section introduces the indefinite article un, as in un café. Think of it like the a or n in a coffee. It doesn't refer to anything specifically. Here, un agrees with masculine singular noun café. However, there is another form of this article. For a feminine singular noun, like pomme, apple, use une. Une pomme. An apple. Une pomme. When referring to something specific, use the definite article. It's like the in English. For a masculine singular noun, like melon, melon, use le. Le melon. The melon. Le melon. For a feminine singular noun, like pomme, apple, use la. La pomme. The apple. La pomme. For both masculine singular and feminine singular nouns starting with a vowel, and often h, use l. Masculine. L'ananas. The pineapple. L'ananas. Feminine. L'orange. The orange, as in the fruit. L'orange.
Let's look at some more examples. Listen and repeat or speak along with the native speakers.
Combien ça coûte? Combien ça coûte?
Combien coûte un café? Combien coûte un café? Combien coûte la tarte? Combien coûte la tarte?
Combien coûte le melon? Combien coûte le melon?
C'est combien? C'est combien? Did you notice how I used a different pattern?
Wondering how you can master these conversations even faster? Here's how. 1. Read along. You get the lesson conversation and translations inside our dialogue tool, so that you see each word as you hear it and understand it all. 2. Practice speaking. By shadowing what you hear, you can also record and compare yourself with native speakers with our voice recording tools. And 3. Take our assessment tests and see how much you remember. These tools are part of our Can-Do course. Just click the link in the description to get them.
C'est combien?
How much is it?
C'est combien?
When you're asking how much something is and it's understood what you're speaking about. For example, when asking by pointing at something, you can omit the subject. This pattern is,
C'est combien?
how much is it? First is,
C'est.
it's.
C'est.
Note,
C'est.
is a contraction of
Ce.
it and
Est.
is.
C'est.
Is shortened for easier pronunciation.
Ce.
It.
Ce. Ce. Est.
Is.
Est. Est. Est.
Is from the verb
Être.
to be.
Être.
Together it's
C'est.
its.
C'est.
Next is
Combien?
how much.
Combien?
Altogether it's,
C'est combien?
meaning literally, it's how much, but translating as, how much is it? You should be aware of this pattern, but for this lesson, we'll use the pattern,
Combien coûte? Item.
how much does item cost? Let's review the key vocabulary.
Café.
Coffee,
Café. Café. Tarte.
pie,
Tarte. Tarte. Melon.
melon,
Melon. Melon. Let's review. Respond to the prompts by speaking aloud. Then, repeat after me, focusing on pronunciation. Ready? When you don't know the word for something, do you remember how to say this? Ça. Ça. And how to say how much? Combien? Combien? Do you remember how Ben Lee asks, how much does this cost?
Combien ça coûte?
Combien ça coûte? Do you remember how to say euro? Euro. Euro. And how to say two? Deux. Deux. Do you remember how the clerk says, this costs €2?
Ça coûte 2 euros.
Ça coûte 2 euros. Do you remember how to say coffee? Café. Café. And how to say a coffee? Un café. Un café. Do you remember how to say melon? Melon. Melon. And how to say the melon? Le melon. Le melon.
Let's practice. Imagine you're Ben, and you're at a farmer's market. Imagine they're selling artisan coffee. Ask for the price of a coffee. Ready?
Combien coûte un café?
Ça coûte 3 €.
Listen again and repeat.
Combien coûte un café? Combien coûte un café?
Let's try another. Imagine they're also selling pie. Ask, how much does this cost? Don't forget the pronoun. Ready?
Combien ça coûte?
Ça coûte 2 €.
Listen again and repeat.
Combien ça coûte? Combien ça coûte?
Let's try one more. There is one melon remaining. Ask for the price of the melon. Ready?
Combien coûte le melon?
Ça coûte 4 €.
Listen again and repeat.
Combien coûte le melon? Combien coûte le melon?
This is the end of this lesson.
Now, here's what you can do to cement this conversation in your head. Review the conversation with our dialogue tool and lesson transcripts. Study the key words and phrases with our spaced repetition flashcards. Review the key grammar and cultural tips inside the lesson notes. And test yourself with our assessment tests. So click the link in the description right now and sign up for your free lifetime account to access our Can Do course.
Now you know how to ask the price of something in French. That's all there is to it. Keep practicing and move on to the next lesson.